Okay, we have Brianna Perez we're starting off with. Raise your hand if you have a question. Okay, nobody. Thanks, Bree. No, just kidding. Okay, Carl, go ahead.
Hi, Bree. So obviously the last couple days, offense has been struggling a bit, but today you guys had closer to an explosion of offense. What do you think was that adjustment?
Yeah, I mean, we just watched film and then kind of went back to what we know, what we do best, and tried to stay within ourselves. We made an adjustment with her rise balls, took away her up pitch, so she kind of had to come down. So yeah, we just watched film and made some adjustments based on that. But a lot of credit to her. She's a great pitcher.
Go ahead, Haley.
Hey, congrats on the win. So before the playoffs started, your coach was telling me that she's just excited to see what you do with your experience in this postseason. So what trajectory, though, do you think you're on at this point?
Yeah, I would say just a lot more calm, and I can trust the process now. I mean, definitely freshman year, I would get a little heightened and worried if they scored one run, but just being able to trust the process and really trusting my teammates and knowing that things will work out the way they're supposed to.
Coral, go ahead. If you got a couple, you can go back to back if you want.
I just have one. So the team's first few runs were really small ball, taking advantage of errors, but then you guys had the 2 long balls. What does it say about the team that you guys are able to produce offense in both ways?
Yeah, we actually said going into the game, our goal was to just score on base hits back to back. Obviously, if long ball happens, it happens, but we're just really trying to play together and string them together. So it's looking good for us. I mean, we love both sides of the game. So yeah.
Go ahead, Eric. If you got a couple, go for it.
Take us through after Thursday's game and not playing up to your potential. How were you able to kind of put that behind you and play the last 2 games the way you all did as a team?
Yeah, I mean, we walked out of that game obviously pretty frustrated, but we looked at it as, hey, that is not us. I mean, every single infielder had an error. So that's probably an NCAA record, who even knows? But we were just like, that's not us. We watched film, the coaches gave us a lot of good advice and pep talks, and we just trust ourselves, honestly, try to play our game.
Rachel was dominant. What did you see from her? And then seeing also Bubba, the seniors, all of you, just last home game to go out on top like that.
Yeah, honestly, so excited for Bubba. I literally almost started crying, and I told her if she would have gotten a hit, I probably would have tackled her on the first baseline. But Rachel and Alyssa both, they had to make adjustments based off of what Virginia Tech was doing. They were actually trying to call pitches based on locations. So both of them just working together, and then Coach Lisa calling a great game as well. And Rachel just trusting her stuff, and Alyssa just being a wall back there. It's really fun to play behind all them, to be honest.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Bree? Okay, Briana, you're good. Thank you.
Tara.
Go, Tara.
Quick one.
Hi, Tara.
Great. Nice job tonight.
Thank you.
Question for you. I feel like I've asked you this twice now, but the lineup you have from leadoff to second to fifth to I don't know. Okay, it changes all the time. How do you stay so composed? And what was your thought process in the box today? Because you were in the 5 spot today.
Yeah.
How does that go? How does it go going back and forth?
Yeah, I look at it as you're only lead off once. So when I was in the leadoff spot, it was just one time, and then who knows what inning someone's gonna be up. But we honestly kind of joke about it, and me and Kinsley were joking, if I get on, Kinsley can put the ball in play and I'm gonna score. And then me and Maya, we were like, okay, me and Maya. So I think this team is just really versatile, and honestly, whatever adjustment Coach I makes, we didn't even bat an eye. We didn't even take a second to say, oh, why is she doing that? Literally just let's go. Whatever coach is scheming up, we're ready to go for it. So yeah.
Great. Thanks, Bree.
Thank you.
Anything else for Briana? Okay, Bree, you're good to go. Thank you. Stand by for Rachel Garcia.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Okay, if you have a question for Rachel, please raise your hand. Go ahead, Coral. If you got a couple, go for it.
So first of all, obviously, I think we've all discussed on Thursday not being the best game for the team, but then you come back today and it's a dominant victory in the circle. Was Thursday any kind of motivation, and then what did you change?
Yeah, I mean, I think Thursday was just a gut check, just to, I mean, wake up and it's a new day. I mean, new team, new everything. So I think after Thursday's game, I think we were a lot better prepared. We knew what we were getting. We came together as a team. We were playing for each other. Ultimately, we just stuck to our goals and our plans.
And then at the end of the fourth, beginning of the fifth, you guys had that close call at home, and then the close call on the stealing second. It seems like momentum would have been in Virginia Tech's favor, but then you managed to shut it down. How do you adjust to those sort of things and limit them after that?
Yeah, I just think about taking deep breaths, slowing the game down, even if it's calling timeout to pull the team together, which we do. I mean, I think Brianna Perez does a great job of calling timeout when the time is needed. So does Liz, and just being able to pull ourselves together and just getting one out at a time.
Go ahead, Haley.
Hey, congrats on the win. So this was your last game as a Bruin at Easton Stadium. So what was kind of your emotions? What was going through your mind for those last few pitches?
Yeah, it's crazy to think that this was my last game here as a Bruin, but I'm super blessed to be a part of this, just to wear the 4 letters, to be a part of the Bruin bubble. Yeah, I mean, I get to represent UCLA for the rest of my life.
And then just how eager were you to get back in the circle tonight, and what was your approach mentally?
Just to attack. I mean, I was ready. Came up with game plan yesterday after watching Megan's game and talking about it after the game. Just mentally, I was ready.
Thanks.
Any other questions for Rachel? Eric, go ahead.
Rachel, what does it mean to get back to OKC and do it with Bubba, who returned in this regional and got to the plate? That had to be special for you as well as for the team.
Yeah, super pumped. I mean, just to even see Bubba out there this whole weekend, I mean, I knew she was waiting for that moment. And the second, obviously, game knows, so she got a ball. And after that first catch, the entire team was super pumped for her, even for her to get her at bat. Like, no matter what, like our team had her back, and to see her be successful at the plate today, even though it was one at bat. I mean, I'm excited for her going into OKC.
What does it mean for you and Bubba and even Deja at Arizona? You're all going to be at Oklahoma City representing your schools and then representing the red, white, and blue shortly after that. This is a pretty special year you're kind of developing here. Yeah,
super unique year, and I'm just super blessed to have the opportunity to finish out my career here as a Bruin, and on top of it to represent USA. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next couple months.
Thank you.
Terry, got anything for Rachel? Any other questions for Rachel? All right, Rachel is good to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stand by for Coach I. If you have a question for Coach, raise your hand. Eric, I don't know if your hand's still up for Coach I, but if it is, go for it.
I don't mind if I do. Coach, congratulations. Just talk about what this team has accomplished here the last 2 days after obviously the performance on Thursday, which you said was not the team you recognized. This was the team that you recognized the last 2 days.
Yeah, actually, first, before we get started, just want to, recognize the fact that VTech, obviously, they're a competitive team. And Keely Richard, I looked at the, I didn't really know exactly what year she was, but I took a look at it today to see she's just a junior, and it's clear why this team is here. She is a legit player. They're well coached, and they were a tough opponent. And then to get back to my team, clearly, yeah, we didn't show up, and we all knew we beat ourselves. Defensively, we couldn't play catch, and we didn't have the best outing offensively or defensively. But one of the biggest things that I always tell this team is, that things are going to happen, and those aren't the defining moments. It's what you do next that is your defining moment. And I'm super proud of this team because they just went to work. There wasn't a lot of high emotion or frustration. It was just, what do we need to do next? And to be able to play better the next day and play even better on this third day shows that this team is on a mission. They know how to play. They're confident in who they are. They played together, and that was the thing that I'm most proud of. We played better on defense. We had quality at bats. We like to say we passed the bat, but I think a big part of this, the whole team was involved with being able to help us win. And that's when we're at our best. This program, this team does not rely on any one player. It's a big part of who we are, and everybody got better and put us in a position to have the opportunity to get back to OKC. So I'm very proud of our team and what we were able to accomplish after day one, where we just straight up didn't show up.
And Rachel was fantastic in her last home start. What did you see from her that was working here tonight?
Well, I think that the best thing, and I had said this earlier, is, Rachel Garcia it's difficult being Rachel. She's been on the stage from her freshman year, all 4 years. So people have a lot of video. People have they could see a lot of things of how people have been successful and how she's been able to get people. And she's had to reinvent herself, meaning, she's got a legit backdoor curve and rise. Everybody in the country knows that. But what you got to see tonight is she's more than that. You got to see that she has the ability to use her other tools and have confidence in it. And those are things that the great, the best have to do to be able to continue to sustain it. No, there's no doubt she is a legit pitcher. But her ability to be different, to be able to throw what we call backwards at times. I think Lisa Fernandez and her just did a great job of calling a great game and throwing their hitters off. So bottom line, what I got to see from Rachel is the defining moment wasn't for her on Thursday. The defining moment was today, to see for a team that has clearly studied her and had a plan against her, put herself in a position to be a little different and come up with some critical pitches and big counts that definitely threw them off. And that's what a sign of what the greatest can do. They have the ability to go to plan A doesn't work, they go to plan B.
Anybody else have a question for Coach? Coral, go ahead.
You talked a lot this season about the depth, especially in your pitching staff. Facing a team that has that just one pitcher as their star, how do you think that really made the difference in the series?
Clearly we got to see, I think, as I said before, a best 2 out of 3 series is critical at this time of the year, because if it was just one game, then anything could happen. And you saw what happened on day one. She is a legit pitcher. She has a legit rise ball and backdoor curve, and she obviously has an effective changeup. What you saw from us is our ability to make an adjustment throughout, and see, go back and look at film, come up and practice and train. So, to be able to see someone 3 times in a row, it's very difficult to be in a program where you're the only one. It's very difficult to reinvent yourself. And she tried to do that today. She tried to be different. You saw her keep the ball down and start throwing a drop and had to change her game. And I think that part of it is the most difficult part, is when you go away from your strength because an opponent is making adjustments. That's very difficult. And she, being the only pitcher, she got them here. We were looking at the innings that she pitched and what she's done for that program. So at the end of the day, to get back to your question, it allowed us to make adjustments, period. And she wasn't the same pitcher tonight as she was on day one.
Coral, you got another one? Okay, let's go to Haley.
Hello, congrats.
Thank you.
Just how have you seen Maya develop in these last 3 games alone?
Yeah, I think, first of all, Maya just being a freshman, we got to see a lot from her last year. She was in pressure situations and she just played. Had no idea, but the season was cut short, so we didn't get to go into pack in the postseason. So to see her continuously just get better from the start of this season into pack and then where she is now, I think to your point, yes, absolutely has just improved, but she's very coachable. She's somebody who constantly goes to work. She knows she's very talented and she's very strong, but she continues to work and try to go to school on what she could do to get better. And that says a lot about her future, because she's someone that could have a big ego with how hard she hits the ball, but she continues to go to work. She's learning a lot also from Aaliyah and from some of the older girls, Bree and Lainey, and she's taking it all in. But what I'm most proud is in those big moments for her to be able to slow it down, because earlier in the season, there was a lot of hype, and it puts a lot of pressure on Maya Brady. She's the best in the game. And oh my God, it's Maya Brady. And it got kind of big for her. So what she ended up doing is she ended up having the ability to block out all the noise of all the expectations and just focus on being able to play great softball. So what you got to see tonight is nothing that we haven't seen. I mean, the girl crushes balls out of the stadium, every day at practice, but it's a whole different thing to do it in a game. It's a whole different thing to do it in Pac-12, in postseason, and definitely at a super regional on a pitch that has been a challenge. So I think that was the best part is, she's been working on that, and I love that she got a payout. But she's someone that continues to work on getting better, and I think that's going to just be huge for her moving forward and her entire career here at UCLA.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Sarah.
Nice win today, Kelly.
Thank you, Tara.
Question for you. Bubba, she got the start today. She was in the lineup in the 9th spot. I don't know. Just the energy in the stadium today just felt different. The fans were louder. The team was hyped up. I think Bubba a little bit to do with that, and seeing her at bat, and gosh, she's such a professional. I mean, that at bat for her to take the walk, and Keely's throwing that rise ball and she hasn't even seen it. How does that feel that Bubba kind of back in the lineup?
Oh, huge. I think the best part about Bubba, she never stopped. Even, she had one arm, and, she was still doing all these little things. And that also teaches the younger girls of just why Bubba is Bubba, her work ethic, and how she continues to work and things don't phase her. She is somebody that is such a positive energy of work and positive attitude and hustle that she's a game changer. I had even said, when she left the lineup, when she got injured, it wasn't even necessarily just her softball, because this team has a lot of talent, but it's her presence, it's her experience, it's her energy, it's her vibe, it's her positive, there is no failure, so all those things bleed into a team on how you keep them loose, which is a big part of the success when she was in the leadoff. I mean, she always had calm, and I love that you use the word professional. She is a professional on her approach, but the biggest reason she says that is because she's prepared. The girl has work ethic like no other. So she gets in there, and that is comfortable. Before the game, she actually said, "Oh my God, I'm really actually nervous. This is really weird. I don't feel like I've been this nervous before." And I said, "Well, of course, because there's always that, even the first catch that she made on day one, she was like, okay, I've been catching balls, but I haven't caught one in a game, so it was really funny. And I told her, I said, this is only going to make your career even better, because she's never experienced this before. She's never experienced an injury. She's never experienced having adversity and being set back like that. She's always been able to work. So she has a greater appreciation. She also was able to be confident knowing she had a really good foundation because her preparation had been so good. But to get back to our team, she is nothing but positive energy. Just if you were to sit back and watch her, she is entertaining 24/7. She is dancing and singing and joking and messing around constantly. So she changes the vibe. And I think, I even traveled her to Arizona and put her in uniform, even though she wasn't cleared, just because I wanted her presence there in Arizona, and it made a difference. Those little things make a difference. Even when she pairs up with Aaliyah, it makes a difference on just the routine and the calmness and all those things that she brings to, this program. So I couldn't be more thrilled that she's back. Obviously she was limited, so we had to do some strategy, but we're getting closer and closer to getting her back to full. And, as I say, I live day by day, but man, we're heading in the right direction. I'm so fired up for her to have the opportunity to get back, to be able to play in OKC. Huge.
And then the back change that
Right?
Rachel threw.
Well, it was funny after the game was over, I was giving shout outs, Bree hit a bomb and Maya hit a bomb and our defense did great things. But then I turned to Rachel and I'm like, did you seriously go 3 change-ups in a row? And she said, no, I actually went 4, because she went to the next batter and she went and changed. I was like, oh my, excuse me, my bad, and the team went mental. And she's like, and honestly, I wanted that 5th, but she didn't call it. And we were dying. We went crazy. So yes, and that is, you haven't seen that in Rachel Garcia. And the best part is they were strikes. It wasn't like she just was chucking off speeds. They were strikes. So I love that. I love that there's an excitement for Rachel to continue to figure out a way to get better, but for her to execute it here on a team that had a plan against her, I think was very impressive.
That's all for me. Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Eric.
Coach, with everything that's happened the last year with COVID and last year being taken away and not knowing what kind of season you would have, if you would have a season this year, and then the adversity on the field with the injuries you've had and being tested, Fresno State pushing you, Minnesota pushing you, Virginia Tech pushing you, does this make this trip to Oklahoma City maybe a little more special than some others just because of all the unique challenges this team has had on and off the field?
Well, I have 2 answers to that. One, it's always special going to OKC. So on the real. The second is absolutely, it's been rewarding. And our mantra this year has been, it's the year of fear. We're going to face everything and rise, because, I shared with the team after the game. Actually, I don't know. I shared it with them though, just everything we had gone through as a program, from winning to celebrating, to losing Bubba and Rachel, to gaining new players, to watching the freshmen perform and playing really well in 2020, to getting cut short for that awkward Zoom overload moment of quarantine, being limited in fall when everybody else was playing. So it took us a while to get going in 2021. And then right when we started to go, we had injuries in and out. So I had kept on telling them that our best was yet to come, and good talent is flexible. But I credit this team for what they're able to do during the regular season with all the adversity. And if you look from the outside, UCLA is just winning. And the expectation, people could look and be like, well, why aren't they winning by more, or what's going on? And all of that was just noise. If you really, and I appreciate you saying that, because if you really knew, I mean, Rachel wasn't even a part of a lot of the regular season. So it is rewarding. I'm proud that this team, because it's very easy to drop games when you have so much change. And their ability to be resilient was definitely a big part of the success of why we were able to stay at home this year and be a top 8. That was huge. But to answer your question, literally, it is super exciting because, there's a lot, we have some experience, but we have some inexperience that we're relying on. And I think the biggest game changer for us was Megan Faremo. Megan literally she's a beast, and we know what she can do, but she hadn't done that here in postseason. And for her to perform the way she did last night, I don't care who the opponent was, she dominated. She pitched her A+ game, and I think that builds great confidence for us going into the postseason, or back to OKC.
And obviously a pretty special day, obviously, for your team advancing to Oklahoma City, and then your son in baseball sweeping over Arizona State. They're pretty much cementing a berth to the NCAA tournament. What's that like in the household? Is it divided there? Is it stressful? What's it like there?
Oh, not at all. It's nothing but love. I mean, I've got let me see if I can, without taking my shirt off. I got my little Mikey Perez, I've got good karma, but I follow them closely. UCLA baseball. I've been able to see some games in person because it's been a really interesting year but I got to see a lot of practice in fall. I got to see them in season. Obviously, I'm glad everything's on TV, but man, he had a serious Abo Taco bomb that helped them win on day 2, which I was so proud. But getting back to it, our household is busy. And we're always on the go, but we celebrate Mikey's game or my daughter's soccer or my husband's baseball games. We are busy family. We're not home very often to be able to sit at the dinner table and actually talk about it a whole lot, but we stay in contact constantly and give a lot of shout outs, a lot of love and a lot of support. But when we're all in season like this, it's very difficult for us to actually have those quiet moments. But trust me, a lot of love, a lot of shout outs. And I stay in touch with my son and everybody all the time to be able to make sure that everyone knows we're with each other. And there's great support that I have at home so that I can be selfish and do this kind of job and be gone for long periods of time.
Any other questions for Coach I?
Thank you guys. Thank you so much for covering. I appreciate that. All right. Take care.